There's a moment in every crypto holder's journey when paranoia tastes almost like freedom. But behind each locked door, each hidden safe, lies a silent terror. No one tells you that being your own bank means you're always just one mistake, one breath, one glance away from losing everything you thought you'd protected. Imagine, the lights burn cold. A man in the United Kingdom, his fortune measured in millions upon millions, defeated by nothing more sinister than a watching eye, a camera, an ordinary watcher. Not a hacker from a distant country. Someone close. Someone patient. If that vision stings you, if it makes your pulse falter for just a moment, let me welcome you to Crypto 101 Central. If stories like this leave you hungry for more, hungry to really see what lurks beneath the surface, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to catch every shiver, every revelation, smash that bell icon so you never miss what matters most. The world of digital assets turns as fast as fear itself, and only the vigilant survive. We're taught to believe that the cold wallet is an impenetrable vault. That if you write down those sacred words, a 24-word phrase whispering immortality, you are safe. Untouchable, like a king behind castle walls. But reality scrawls a darker message. Data, cold and merciless, exposes the myth. The threat isn't some faceless adversary halfway across the globe. It's the person who knows where you live. The courier who delivers your parcel. The shudder that runs through you when the safe in your basement suddenly feels much too close, not nearly deep enough. Bitcoin and Ethereum, names that taste heavy in the mouth, holding a market of over 1 trillion, almost 2. Swings so wild, prices climbing and plunging like a roller coaster that nobody asked to ride. When one asset can gain or lose the equivalent of $62,000 or more in a single year, the stakes become more than real. They become existential. The old gospel, the pure narrative, tells us to trust ourselves and only ourselves. But the data keeps whispering how many millions of Bitcoin have simply vanished. Not to innovation, not to malicious code, but to lost passwords, burned houses, wilted scraps of paper. Human error. Water on the floor. The headlines obsess about exchanges being hacked, about digital villains without faces, cyber phantoms exploiting cryptographic cracks. But the true catastrophe is quieter. It happens when a man, believing himself alone, types out his phrase, one letter at a time, within sight of a camera. Or when a white hat, Joe Grand, the name sticks like a warning in the mind, shows that even the toughest device is just matter, circuits and silicone that can be manipulated with patience and cunning. When our trust is placed in the inviolability of an object, we forget that the world is littered with lockpicks and leverages and the simple, brutal reality of being watched. What's worse, these attacks, these wrenching violations of private space, are not slowing down. In the last 12 months, the rate of physical assaults on crypto holders has risen by 169%. That's not just data, that's a gathering storm. 75% more, wrench attacks, as the cold industry jargon calls them, simple violence. A wrench, a threat, and all the encryption in the world becomes worthless. There is no device on earth that will save you from a hand at your throat, a body in your hallway. Maybe you're telling yourself, if I keep my device hidden, my location secret, I am invisible. Yet the danger seeps in sideways. It's not only fists and threats that erase fortunes. It's poisoned code, compromised software, the insidious sabotage that happens when you never even know you've lost control. Remember the great Bybit theft, the Lazarus Group sweeping away $1.5 billion, not by breaking cryptography, but by corrupting the very interface trusted by its owners. Imagine, the screen shows everything as normal, while beneath, the code betrays you. It happens quietly, with polite lies and invisible knives. This is where the mask slips from the so-called security of being utterly alone. Our industry has enshrined the lone wolf, the solitary guardian, isolated, a single point of failure waiting to break. Vitalik Buterin has called it out time and again. Relying on one slip of paper, one memory, one place, is madness. And right now, as devices get more sophisticated, as attacks multiply and physical threats multiply even faster, the old dream is breaking under its own contradictions. Because if you lose that paper, if fire or flood or simple forgetfulness claims it, a house burned, a safe waterlogged, a moment's carelessness, there is no redemption. Your wealth is gone, scattered like smoke, and there's no one left to help you gather it back. So, where does hope root itself when the soil is so uncertain? The answer, if there is one, blooms in community, in redundancy, in a web woven not from isolation, but from trust distributed across people, spaces, and technology. Social recovery wallets. A mouthful, but a lifeline. Imagine a circle of guardians, family you trust, devices you own, services you can choose. If you lose access, if your soul goes hollow with fear because a key is missing, they can, together, help you reclaim what you lost. There is time, security through delay, consensus, built-in forgiveness. 23 million of these smart accounts already dotting the Ethereum ecosystem, new roots breaking the old stone. For those who see their assets as more than numbers, for those who feel generational weight pressing on their shoulders, collaborative custody is the new professional standard. Multi-signature architecture, multi-IG, for those who like to shorten fear, demands that more than one key, more than one person or device, must agree before any fortune can move. The 2 of 3 setup. One key in your home, one in a bank, one with a trusted service. If your living room turns into a fortress under siege, you can look violence in the eye and say, I cannot help you. I alone am not enough. Firms like Casa, like Unchained Capital, have built their names on this trust. Over 12 billion in Bitcoin under their careful watch, thousands protected by vaults not of steel but of math and consensus. The purists scoff, doesn't this dilute the dream of self-sovereignty? But ask yourself, is sovereignty a crown worth wearing if it means ruling over a kingdom of ash? Collaborative custody does not revoke your control. It distributes it, hedges it against disaster, gives you a partner to anchor you in the flood. And what about the titans? Those sequestered rooms on Wall Street, portfolios swollen with the burden of billions. They do not write phrases on slips of titanium, hoping the night will spare them. They use multi-party computation, taking one key and breaking it into as many shards as necessary, spreading them across continents, across oceans. No one person can gather them alone, and the signature forms only when the scattered pieces reach out and grasp each other in cryptographic communion. It is not magic, it is simple, practiced distrust of every possible failure, and the numbers show that, for those who did this, breaches drop by 70%. Let this be your invitation. If these stories press at your chest, if you have walked the fine line between terror and autonomy, leave a like on this video. It helps others find what they didn't know they needed. More so, speak out. Share your story in the comments. Tell me, is multi-signature the only true safety, or can the average person still trust the cold silence of a hardware wallet alone? I want to know what you feel, not just what you think. For those not ready to trust themselves or a third party, hardware wallets have not stood still. Shamir's secret sharing, strange name, vital concept. Instead of splitting a single phrase and hoping for the best, the secret is mathematically scattered. Less risk, more resilience. No single fragment can betray you if lost or stolen. Let this image rest in your mind, the old myth of breaking paper in half, exposed for its naivete. It is not enough. The world is too wide, too unpredictable for such faith. We were told, be your own bank, trust no one, guard your secret with your life. But reality tears at the edges of this creed. 176 million gone with a glance. 2.3 million Bitcoin lost with nothing but silence as a witness. Absolute independence, when carried too far, circles back into fragility, invites disaster by refusing to share its burden. To secure our digital wealth in this moment, in this decade, we must transcend the legacy of solitary defense. Our wallets must become networks. Our security, a tapestry, not a thread. So, what is left at the end of all this fear and revelation? A humble hardware wallet is still your first step, necessary, empowering, liberating you from exchanges and their shadowy risks. But to build a legacy, to ensure what you hold outlasts the dark, you must move forward. Single signature to multi-sig, from isolated custodian to collaborative shield. This is the turning point in the philosophy of self-sovereignty. Stay adaptable, or watch as the ecosystem outgrows you. The question is not only technical, it is existential. What are you willing to risk? What sacrifices will you make to hold what you believe is yours? If you want to go deeper into how big institutions are changing the fate of Bitcoin and finance, there are more stories for you, right over here. And if you crave the pulse of every new shift, remember, hit that bell, stay with us, because the story of wealth, security, and self-trust is only getting started. This is Lewis for Crypto 101 Central. I'll see you soon. Stay vigilant, stay distributed, and, above all, stay human.